Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Superannuated Starman. I'm your host, Sean Ryan, and back with me as always is Chris Duerksen. How you doing, Chris?
That's exactly what I said you were going to say in the outline.
That is exactly what I said I was going to say in the outline.
I'm doing really good. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm really excited to talk about Ninja Turtles, and I'm really excited to introduce Cory. He's returning from our last episode. Cory, how are you doing?
Oh, bonjour. I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am fantastic. And like I said, I am very ready to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. First, I'm going to give some brief history about the video game. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Turtles in Time. It was released as a sequel to Konami's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game in 1991, and it was ported to the Super Nintendo as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, as a numbered sequel to the 3 Turtles games that were on the Nintendo Entertainment System. On 15th of August 1992 in North America, it was released. According to Wikipedia, the arcade release had a worldwide launch sometime in the March of 1991, but there's no specific dates there. The Super Nintendo port has various differences from the arcade version, including missing animations, graphics. Some levels were altered to be bonus stages, some bosses were added or completely changed, and it has some missing voice samples for the Turtles and some of the bosses. A few notable differences are the title theme for the arcade version is Pizza Power, which was originally performed during the Coming Out of Their Shells tour. It was replaced with an instrumental version of the arcade theme song. And a quick note, either of you ever seen Coming Out of Their Shells?
I don't think I have. No.
I think I did when I was a little kid. If I remember, it was live action. Them.
It was
doing a rock concert, right?
Yeah, it was brutal.
I remember. Wasn't there a guitar in there?
I think more than one. Yeah, I hope that the recording caught me and it didn't cut out too much. All right, so the arcade version allows you to play as all 4 turtles at once, but the Super Nintendo port is limited to 2. There's also a level not included in the arcade version where you have a unique boss fight with Shredder, where you throw enemies at the screen to damage Shredder's battle tank. They kind of use the Mode 7 scaling there when they're throwing the Foot Clan soldiers at Shredder. That's also kind of a ripoff of a Battletoads boss.
I was going to say that, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, if either of you have played that. Outside of finding an actual arcade cabinet or a copy of the SNES card, there aren't many ways to play this game today. However, the game is included as an unlockable bonus in the 2005 TMNT 3 Mutant Nightmare that's available on PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. That sells for about $60. I looked that up on eBay. In 2009, Ubisoft released a 3D remake that was available on PSN for the PS3 and Xbox Live Arcade for the Xbox 360, but since then it has been delisted. It was delisted in 2011. This game is available as part of the Arcade 1-Up 3/4 scale arcade lineup for the low price of $700.
What?
And that's not including shipping or taxes. That is straight up
boat
$700. Released a few months later in December of 1992, the Sega Genesis saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist. The plot and gameplay is based heavily on Turtles in Time, with elements of the first arcade game, though one major difference is that there's only 5 levels. However, each of these levels is much longer than the ones that are based on, and the AI difficulty is ramped up significantly. Alright, so that's a lot of history. Let's take a break. We'll discuss what it was like playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. We'll be right back. Alright, so Cory, since you're our special guest, why don't you start us off and just tell us Did you ever play the arcade game? Did you play the Super Nintendo port, or did you play both as a kid?
All right, picture it. Pizza Hut, 1995. They still have a salad bar for some reason. You see in front of you an arcade cabinet. It's 3 a.m. in the Big Apple. A giant robot just stole the Statue of Liberty, and your arch nemesis is talking smack on the television. Now you have to beat up a horde of ninjas as Michelangelo, because he's the best Ninja Turtle. We're playing Turtles in Time. And yes, I did play it on both the arcade cabinet and the Super Nintendo, and it's one of the best beat 'em ups.
Yeah, I can't argue with you there. Turtles in Time is fantastic. It really improved on everything that was the first Turtles arcade game.
Like, also, why did Pizza Hut have a salad bar?
We may never know.
But anyway, this game is fabulous. I mean, visually, like it's still beautiful in my opinion. Like it's real, high density, cartoonish. Like everything's bright and fabulous, and you're running around beating up ninjas and throwing them at your screen, and like Krang steals monuments. Like it's a great game.
It really is. I was really surprised. Like, if you go on, like, I think it's rated pretty low, like reviewed pretty low, like 5.5
Oh,
out of 10
really?
or something like. Yeah, like
All right, but I mean, like my memories as a child, I remember playing this quite a bit. Like this was kind of a staple in the arcade. Like there was like a Simpsons game, and there were like Time Crisis and X-Men. Like that's usually what you found like in that time
totally.
frame. And this one is something that ate a lot of my quarters. I don't
You
think I
can't.
really I don't think I beat it in the arcade, but I did spend quite a bit of money on this. Anyway, yeah, like this was fun. Like this is a great game. It did have the 4-player co-op in the arcade, which was amazing. And then strangers would come up and like get in on it with you, and you beat up a bunch of ninjas. And like who didn't love that? And there were like sewer
Either of you
monsters.
have either of you ever gotten 3 other people to join in with you?
Oh,
Yes.
totally, all the time.
Oh man, I've never gotten that.
Oh, see, like we played this all the time. Because what this came out, what you said, 93, 91,
91.
91. So okay, we were 7, you were 8. That was prime time for Boy Scout and birthday party trips to Aladdin's Castle in the mall, and there would be groups of us. Like there would literally be like a swarm of us around this machine, all taking turns subbing in. When one person get out, somebody else would take their spot. And like it was just there was a constant stream of kids on this machine. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to grow up in Minnesota, so the Mall of America was a real thing.
Oh, you weren't kidding
And
about that.
yeah, like it's a legitimate thing. Like I grew up with the Mall of America, like Camp Snoopy, and there were like arcades in the mall, and there were a bunch of kids. So this game usually had a line. It was like this,
Yeah.
and like I said, Time Crisis, and you had like the X-Men game, and you had like what did I say? Simpsons? Yeah. Like
Hmm.
you had kind of those like were the big titles at the time. And this one always had a bunch of people swarming around it. And it was kind of the old school thing where it's like you gotta get your quarter up there and you gotta like, hey, I'm here too. Like I'm ready to go. And like people
Yep.
would just butt in and be like, all right, my turn next. Like, let's do it.
When you got it for Super Nintendo, did you rent it or did you own it? Did you borrow it?
I honestly cannot remember. I think we owned a copy at one point because there were a significant amount of hours sunk into this one. It was this, and I think number two the one where you started and you like immediately had like kind of an open world thing where you like went into a sewer and stuff.
No, that was number 1.
Was that number one? Okay, yeah, we
Yeah.
had number one as well.
No, number 2 was the apartment on fire
Oh, that's right. Okay,
with the cannonballs coming down the stairs for
yeah,
some reason.
this one was great. I mean, like I remember like beating up Beat Bob and Rocksteady on a pirate ship. Like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can talk about the first 3 Ninja Turtle games all day because I had all 3 of those as a kid. Go ahead.
Was this the first Super Nintendo port?
Yes. So
Okay.
the first game was just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The cover had all 4 turtles, but they were all wearing red because at the time in the comic books they didn't have individual colors for each turtle.
It was about the weapons.
It was about the
Right.
weapons. That's how you told each other apart. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 was the port of the first arcade game from Konami.
Which was also amazing, and we have to talk about that one too.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about that at some point. But Cory, we're just thrashing your childhood memories here, so go ahead.
I mean, I'm fine with that. We're having a great time, and this is definitely. I don't really know what I can add. That I mean, like this is something where you had the summer off, because school's great and you don't have to be an adult, and you get to sit down in front of the television and you get to waste a bunch of time beating up ninjas. Like, I really don't know what more I can elaborate on that. Like, you got to throw ninjas at the screen. Like that, like you were saying with the Battletoads thing, like that was so cool. Where like do your throw attack and you'd whip stuff at the screen and it would come flying towards you.
Did either of you ever see Secret of the Ooze, the second Turtles film?
Yeah, of course.
So you guys were talking about tie-ins with Pizza Hut. When you bought the VHS, it had a coupon for a free large pizza in it.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a video out there on YouTube of some guys that had got a brand new sealed copy of that VHS tape and went to a Pizza Hut and they honored it.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of free PR there, but I mean, that's just amazing that they were going to give you a free large pizza for buying this film.
I definitely think it was a two-way street. I think, Pizza Hut definitely benefited, but I mean, just tying the Ninja Turtles into the real world also just.
Oh yeah,
I think I think they both were patting each other on the back on that one. That was great.
If we could talk about films for a moment,
Go for it.
could we discuss the fact that the '90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looked way better than the late 2000s Ninja Turtles?
Are you
Yes,
talking about the
completely.
cartoons and everything?
No. Like the live action films, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2, like
And 3.
and 3. You compare them to like
The Michael Bay movie.
the Michael Bay films where they've got the creepy noses and stuff.
Those
Yes.
Turtles. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
The new Ninja Turtle films, those aren't my turtles.
No.
Like, I like the guy in the costume is what I need. I need some Jim Henson Muppet style turtles.
Yeah, with rubbery lips bouncing around and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
they
it
were
was so great.
They were good, and they were like, and that's part of what I remember is like, I mean, do you guys remember the Turtles Christmas?
No.
Oh, you
No.
don't remember it was like a 30-minute long VHS, and it was a Ninja Turtles Christmas special, and they were all hanging out in their secret sewer base, and they were having Christmas, and there is a 12 Days of Christmas song, and it's like, and a pizza with pepperoni, and Master Shredder is leading the song. And guys should go on YouTube right now. If you're listening to this, pause this right now. Go on YouTube, look up Turtles Christmas because
Did you
it's
say
the best.
Master Shredder or Master
Or
Splinter?
Master Splinter. I'm sorry, I'm Shredder splintering all over town. But yeah, this game's great, and I played Michelangelo because that's the correct Ninja Turtle to play. And I beat the game, and I am a Turtle Time champion.
And this ties in with the movies because whenever you die, the continue screen has the a little picture of the poster art for the first Ninja Turtle movie.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, all 4 of them coming out of the manhole
Yeah,
cover.
and it looks so great.
Oh, and then if you pick up health, it's a pizza, and you shout "Pizza time!"
Yeah, pizza power.
Pizza time!
I totally didn't even put it together last night when I was sharing those pictures of the homemade pizza with you. You kept saying pizza time, pizza time. I'm slow. I get it now.
Do you?
Yep.
Brink, what are your thoughts of this as a child?
Same as yours, except I was probably a little. Well, Cory, how old are you? What, like you're like?
I'm timeless, thank you.
You're a classic.
Yeah.
But I
I'm a
think
couple years younger than you.
Yeah, I'm a couple years older. So yeah, I was when this hit the arcades, I was probably I remember being third grade and this being everything in the arcade. And I also had it. I think I had on Super Nintendo. I can't remember if I actually owned it or not, but I played it a lot. This was I can't remember if I actually owned it, but this was a game that we played all the time. This was one of the favorite games, and it just felt so seamless between Ninja Turtles. Okay, Ninja Turtles 1 on the NES. That was a frustrating game, especially for kids. Ninja Turtles 2 and 3 were great, and then this one just flowed, just kept, just went along right with it, and just those games were super heavy in our rotation and played them all the time. Every birthday party, any excuse we had to go to the arcade game. Anytime my mom needed to go to the mall, and I could go into Aladdin's Castle, and I also remember having one thing to go along with Aladdin's Castle with their fanny packs full of tokens. So yeah, playing this game all over again, pulling it out was just so much nostalgia just dripping on it. And also, I did on the what was the remastered one on the 360 called? The reshelled or something like that.
Reshelled.
Yeah, which was also great. They made it look very modern and smoother, but I prefer the original much more. Yeah, as a kid, everybody obviously Cory preferred Michelangelo. As a kid,
That's the correct turtle.
yeah, that was my favorite as a kid too, because especially like when you did the little super attack, whatever, like the way he just lashed out with throwing his nunchucks out there, just seemed like the best choice. And Sean, what was yours as a kid?
Leonardo, 100%.
Oh man, that's wrong. That's the worst.
He had 2 swords. 2 of them.
I mean, nunchucks are cool.
And he had 2 nunchucks.
What's the length of a sword and the length of a nunchuck?
Yeah, but like
stick wins every time.
No, never.
But picking Leonardo was like the equivalent of like picking Mario when you were playing Mario Kart on Super Nintendo. Like Leonardo was just like the middle of the road.
That's true.
Boring.
He's a safe choice.
Yeah, he's a safe, boring choice. And even as an adult, playing it again, I'd never pick Leonardo. I did just to compare him. And I'm like, nope, that's just the wrong one. Yeah, no, this game was great. One of the childhood favorites. And Sean, on that note, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Yeah, so I remember playing the original arcade game and just playing it to absolute death because I was a huge Turtles fan. I had the toys, the play sets, the vehicle, the turtle van, the turtle blimp.
Yes.
Anything Ninja Turtles, I was definitely a part of it. Except apparently this Christmas special that I need to get my hands on.
Oh, it's a real thing.
I'm sure, and I want to be a part of it. Even today, I'm sure it's kind of cheesy,
Very.
but I think it'd be something that, for nostalgia purposes, I'd like to see what I missed out on. But like I said, I had the first 3 games on the NES, and they were great games. I loved them. I never beat the first one. The second one, like I said, was a port of the arcade game. Loved it because now I got the arcade game at home. And the third one, the Manhattan Project, was also another side-scrolling beat 'em up, and it was a great game if you guys have ever played it.
I love that game.
It is incredibly expensive to get your hands on a cart, or more importantly, the complete in box. This is probably 6 or 7 years ago now, and there was a complete in box set for $300, and I almost bought it, but I'm glad I didn't.
Oh wow!
So I was probably at the same arcade that you were at, Chris. And I didn't see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I don't remember seeing it there. It wasn't until we went to a different city that my parents stopped at a restaurant. It was probably a pizza parlor because it had a little arcade in it. And they had Turtles in Time. And I was just floored that there was a new Turtles game that I wasn't aware of, but I only got 50 cents to play, and you guys know how 50 cents lasts on an arcade game.
Yeah, especially if you're 8.
Yeah, that's no time at all. But eventually, my parents did buy the game for us, but that was after we had rented it many, many, many times. My brother and I had a lot of sibling rivalry. He's 3 years younger than I am, so we didn't exactly mesh on everything. And we played Versus a lot.
Oh, good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played the hell out of Versus, and we would get frustrated while playing the main game. It's like, oh, you died, and we'd blame each other, and our parents would get involved, and that's it for
You just
game
stick
time.
more quarters in.
And now that you mentioned getting the cartridge at home, like the actual cartridge, I think I did own this one because I remember the box art. Like I vividly remember holding the cardboard box in my hand for this game, and just I loved the cover art for this game.
Did you guys did you have like a weird corner store that rented games to you, or did you have like a Blockbuster type of thing or like a Family Video?
So Chris and I had a little grocery store called the IGA in a little town called Homer, Illinois, and they rented out video games. There was
Yeah.
also. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Oh no, I was gonna say, yeah. Sean and I grew up fairly rural, and and speaking of the IGA, like the next closest towns to us were all like they're all like 20 miles apart from each other, and each one of them had their own little convenience store or grocery store, and they all of them had their own little rental sections. And I even remember, at least on a few occasions, like my mom would we'd be out probably like half an hour away or an hour away somewhere at a grocery store, and we'd rent a game. And the idea of like my mom having to drive back 2 days later to return the game, like just driving through a bunch of cornfields to return a horrible Nintendo game, kind of makes me chuckle.
I
There
had a
was
little.
also a family-owned rental store in Ogden, Illinois, next to a bar. Do you remember that, Chris? It was some. I think they sold pizza as well.
Maybe, and that could be what I'm thinking of too, because I can't remember. I was only in Homer for a couple of years before I moved down to Broadlands.
We had a place called Snyder's, and it was a like corner convenience drugstore kind of place, and they had two aisles that had Genesis and Super Nintendo titles in them.
Were they large aisles or?
No, they were just like you remember those old steel shelves that you
Yeah.
find like greeting cards and stuff on. Yeah, there were just like two rows there, so there were probably like 50 titles between the two shelves, but it was not a big selection. But I just remember going there as a child, and my mom was getting like odds and ends and stuff, and then be like, "Hey, can we rent this?" It was only like 6 blocks from the house, so it wasn't a big deal. But it was just like, "Hey, do you have like $4? Can we rent this game, please, please?" And then you'd take it back, and then it's like, can you rent that again? Like, I
Yeah.
just gave you the money for this, and now we're doing this again. Yeah, we didn't get enough time to beat it.
I'm positive that we spent more money renting this game than it would have been for my parents just to buy it initially.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
yeah. And actually, and come to think of it, I think my main rental place, even when I did live in Homer, was probably the Blockbuster in Champaign or in Urbana, because we had to go into Champaign. That's where my mom, she worked at Carl, so we were at that Blockbuster all the time, and they had a fantastic game selection. And and a lot of the games that I owned growing up were used ones from Blockbuster. So like I didn't even have actual cases for a lot of the games. A lot of them came in that giant plastic rectangle that had the Blockbuster logo on it.
Or like just the clear box with like the note card pushed inside it.
Uh-huh. Nothing could say used used copy more than that. Like
Well, I think that's all of our memories. Do either of you guys have anything to add?
oh, one thing. Okay, I will add, even as from a little kid's point of view, the variety of, because I assume just like you guys, I was obsessed with Ninja Turtles when I was a kid.
Of course.
and the cartoon and the comics and the movies and all the toys. One thing that was awesome about all that stuff was the variety of bad guys and everything. And this game, even as a kid, I loved how each stage was a different bad guy that was recognizable, but they were also just such a good variety. Like it really helped kind of bring the whole Ninja Turtle universe to life in one game, in one place, you know? I just thought I'd throw that in there before we talk about it as adults.
The
But
bosses were definitely some solid choices, and yeah, I
I
think that we can talk about them more in the next segment. But you're right, there were some really good choices that they made.
Oh, for sure, and one just the variety of them, and it's just all the familiar faces from mostly from what I remember, mostly the cartoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like you had the cartoon, which was great, and then you did have all this like recognition. And back to the art a little bit, like everything was so like eye catching and standing out. Like it was kind of like, oh, like there's Bebop and Rocksteady, and there's
Mm-hmm.
Shredder, and there's Krang, and everybody. Like they were all like really well done, and it wasn't kind of this like old school like pixelated thing like Mario used to be, where it's like everyone was very recognizable and everyone stood out, and like boss fights were like pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, and also this was the first one after Turtles and no Secret of the Ooze came out, the second movie. So it had Toka and Razor and Super Shredder and which were from the movie. And I remember when that movie came out too. That was like the movie that everybody watched, and this was the game that everybody played, and it just the marketing was on point.
So as far as the timeline goes, the game was being developed at around the same time that the movie was being produced. So it's really, really awesome that they were able to get some, that Konami was able to get some insight onto who the new characters are going to be. You mentioned Toka and Razor, and having those guys as bosses was just amazing.
Yeah, and don't forget Super Shredder. Like he was even in the movie, he was the coolest looking bad guy ever. Even though you really didn't get to see him too much in the movie, but
Did you know that Super Shredder was played by the professional wrestler Kevin Nash?
Was he
who,
really? That's
He
awesome.
was.
man, I hate to. Who's Kevin Nash?
So I'm gonna kind of out myself here, but I was really into professional wrestling as a kid.
Oh
You
man,
know, the WCW kind of thing, and Kevin Nash was just this very large, not fat, but he was just a humongous man.
I'm googling that right now.
Yeah, he
He
was
was,
like 7 feet tall, wasn't he?
he was massive.
Oh my,
Yeah, he was.
7 feet
Yeah,
0.
he kind of rolled with like what it was like Razor Ramon and those guys, wasn't it?
I don't remember all their names. That's all lost to time. They weren't important like the Turtles were. All right, so let's take another break. We'll get some more of that awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle music in here. And when we come back, we're going to revisit what it's like playing Turtles in Time today. We'll be right back. All right, so now that we've already heard what it's like to play this game as children, now we're going to go and talk about revisiting as adults. Corey, how about you start us off and tell us what it was like playing this game today?
Well, I had a great time. Michelangelo still carried me through because he does. I will say that I am not nearly as good at video games now as an adult as I was as a child because this one took some time. It probably took me about 90 minutes or so, and I think if I was better at the game, it probably would have taken me about 45. But still great, still a great game, still looks great, graphics hold up. Music is amazing. It's pizza time. What else can I say about this? I mean, like it's fun. Like I still have fun. I still slash ninjas in the face and I throw them off screen, and I beat up giant robots with brain inside of them. Like Ninja Turtles is amazing. This is a great game.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite beat 'em ups. I prefer shorter beat 'em ups as opposed to some of the much longer ones that we see today. Scott Pilgrim is a fantastic game. I think it goes on a little too long. Chris, you might disagree because I know you love the hell out of that game.
I really do, but you're not wrong. I mean, but that's kind of gives the game a little bit of depth, and you can turn off and walk away from it and pick it up. And
Well, I think one of the issues with new games of this kind of genre is that you're expected to be able to save. Like these
yeah,
games were
exactly.
designed for arcades, so they were designed to be like an hour
One
playthrough or
shot, yeah.
45 minutes or whatever, and they were
Good
designed to
point.
eat your quarters. So I mean, like this thing, it's still got a pretty solid difficulty curve to it. Like I got beat up by the bosses quite a few times. Bebop and Rocksteady are no joke. Um, and I also suck at driving a magical surfboard through 2020. So but it was good. I still had a lot of fun. Like, some of the like a lot of retro games, you'll pick them up and there's that nostalgia factor. This one, it's entertaining. I had a good time.
I love how the game starts out very much like a cartoon would, where a gigantic Krang is stealing the Statue of Liberty of all things.
Yeah, what a
yeah,
MacGuffin.
it totally the game totally starts off like an episode of the cartoon show.
And honestly, the best part about that is when like they're showing him, April O'Neil's on mic, and he just kind of flies in and he picks the statue up. Like there's no rubble coming off. He's just like, "Yep, this is mine now. Statue of Liberty, time to go." Like, how did you pick that up, sir? Even if you're a giant robot, like you didn't just rip it out of the ground or anything. Like you just, yep, gotta put it under my arm and fly away.
Yeah, there was zero effort there.
That's the magic of Ninja Turtles, my friend.
And it's a cartoon. Just go with it.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, I'm not 9 years old anymore, so I have questions. There's
Oh,
I'm a jaded old man, and there's no suspension of disbelief anymore.
no, I had that same moment when I was replaying it and they sent you back in time. It's like I'm gonna get like, why are there hand soldiers back in time right away? Like if you're gonna send somebody back in time to mess them up or to get rid of them, just send them back in time. Just leave them there. You don't need to like, give them a way to come back.
No, we had to send ninjas after them to make sure that the mission was accomplished.
Or send them to the future because everything's going downhill. Everything just gets worse anyways. Send them to the future and just let them get depressed.
Well, we did get sent to the future, and joke's on you because I got to ride a hoverboard.
Does anybody really understand the time travel mechanic?
No.
Shredder
No.
sends the turtles back in time, and then we leap from time zone to time zone after that, but there's zero explanation why or how.
Well, the explanation is magic.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
magic.
the reason why is because I
It's
had
cool.
to fight Bebop and Rocksteady on a pirate ship.
No other place to do it.
I mean, I also had to fight a giant crocodile on a train.
Did anybody else notice back in the prehistoric level, there's the giant mountain in the shape of Shredder's head?
I did not notice that.
No.
I don't know if it's like his fortress in the background or what, but yeah, there's a mountain with Shredder's head on it.
See, that's why the ninjas are already there, because he's already established himself.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, like, why would you send him to a place where anything exists already?
I have a question.
Shoot.
What's that?
Why do the sewer monsters look like they came out of Alien?
And why are they called pizza monsters?
So,
Actually, and I think that comes from the cartoon, if I remember right.
I did a lot of research for this episode. The pizza monsters come from episode 6 in season 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
but why do they look like Sigourney Weaver is going to come and help us?
I don't know why they look like xenomorphs,
Because
but
this is early 90s, and that was still, like, the cool-looking Alien.
When did
Like-
Alien drop? Like 87? 90?
Oh, earlier than that, I think.
I don't know,
So
but that is a masterpiece.
79. Jesus. Okay. Anyway.
Anyway, you were talking about Turtles in Time.
Yeah. So I fought some xenomorphs in a sewer, and then I fought a rhinoceros on a pirate ship, and I fought a giant robot on a hoverboard, and then I beat up Shredder on a moon base. So is 10 to 10 would play again.
Chris, what was it like for you revisiting?
Wonderful. And I will admit, this game, I really wish I had co-op going for this one. Like, this game was meant to be played with a buddy. And yeah, not to sound pathetic and lonely, but yeah, I wish I had somebody to play this with.
Corey, did you play by yourself for your
Yeah,
playthrough?
I
Me too.
played it at 1 in the morning before wasting 3 hours on full throttle. But yes.
So, but yeah, no, I love this game. I am still going to I'm going to keep this in the wheelhouse, and next time I can take my system over to anybody's house or like a family get together or play with anything. Definitely going to be busting out the extra controllers and getting people to fire this one up with me.
I have a question. How often did you guys actually use versus mode? I mean, I know Sean used it quite a bit, but
Quite a
Chris,
bit.
did you ever use versus mode?
No, I might have as a kid, maybe if I ever played with my little brother, but this was one game. So
This
I know
was always a co-op title for me.
Yeah, and I know my dad. Like my dad had the Super Nintendo up north, down south. We did not. I eventually got my own Super Nintendo, and I think this was one game I had in my collection and didn't really take up and play with my brother that much. I can't remember. I don't think we played it that often.
Now, just to confirm, your favorite Ninja Turtle is Michelangelo, and
Oh
why?
no, the correct choice is Raphael in
No,
this
it's
game.
Michelangelo. I'm sorry.
He's
For the game, it's Michelangelo.
No,
But
for
for the best
everything, it's
turtle,
definitely
it's
Michelangelo.
Leonardo all day, every day.
No, I'm sorry, it's Michelangelo. You're incorrect.
Yeah, Michelangelo probably be the most fun to chill with.
He's
Raphael
a
is
party dude.
still the Raphael's still the badass.
Is that who
And
you used for your playthrough?
no, I rotated through all of them just for the experience of rotating through all of them. And yeah, so that way I could compare all four. So I know hands down scientifically Leonardo is the worst. Raphael is the best because he's fast. He's so much faster than the other ones.
Incorrect.
Raphael is very fast.
He's so ridiculously fast in this game. Donatello has the reach, which is nice and comes in. Oh, actually, it really doesn't come in that much that handy. Michelangelo, I don't know what his special uniqueness is. I do really well with him, but I don't know. Like, does he do like the specials more or something? Or
Michelangelo has a lot more health.
is that what it is? Oh, okay. Maybe that explains why I do better with Michelangelo. But
that probably carried me through this game. To be honest, I got hit a lot.
So
yeah,
dating myself, and I used GameFAQs to research this part. The HP values: Leonardo is 80, Michelangelo 96, Donatello 64, and Raphael 48.
oof.
I mean, that's what happens. You trade that speed for stability.
Yeah, he is like half as fast again as the other turtles.
Honestly, like as a child, did any of us pick up on any of that though?
Yes, totally.
Did you?
I did not.
I mean, like speed wise,
yeah.
sure, but like no one. I don't think I ever like was like, oh, this guy lives much longer. Nope, I was just like,
No,
listen, Shredder's got a cannon. He's coming at me.
The life thing, no. But as a kid, I did pick up on the fact that Donatello's bow staff had the longer reach,
Oh, that's true.
and obviously Raphael was the quickest. I didn't know they had different life values though.
That's very
Well,
interesting.
according to this GameFAQ that was written in, it was updated last year.
We got another turtle fan here.
Dude, I bet you a lot of people still play this game.
Oh, I'm sure. It's like I said, it's a great game. Like
Yeah.
it still looks really good, and you can throw ninjas at Shredder as he tries to attack you with his claw robot.
Oh man! And in these little podcasts, I always try to give it my rating on if it's worth playing. If you've never played this game before, just play it. This is definitely a 10 out of 10. Play it if you've never had before. It's a short game. It's a lot of fun. If you have a friend to play with, that'll make it even more fun. If you like Ninja Turtles at all, you have to play this game.
I didn't ask before. Have either of you played Hyperstone Heist?
No.
No, just me? So I rented that as a kid, thinking it was a completely different game just due to the name.
I'm definitely going to have to take a trip down to Blockbuster and pick that one up.
That's something you should check out just for comparison.
Yeah.
What was your favorite level, Sean?
My favorite level is probably the ship.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
I liked the music. I liked that there was ships in the background shooting cannonballs that were enormous.
Yeah, and the whole cosmetic of it too was just fun and what you would think.
And seeing Bebop and Rocksteady in appropriate attire for the time was really cool. And the interaction that they have between each other, because Bebop, hold on, which one's which? Bebop is the Warthog. Rocksteady is the Rhino, right?
Nah, you're putting me on the spot here.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm pretty sure Bebop is the Warthog.
Yeah,
but
Bebop is the Warthog and Rocksteady is the Rhino.
He has like a whip, and he will whip out, and sometimes it will catch Rocksteady's sword. And then that will kind of halt the two of them, and you can get a lot more hits in.
Yeah, they kind of mess each other up.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to pit them against each other like that.
So those bosses weren't in the arcade game. In the arcade game, that's where you fought Toka and Razor.
And then, but the home version, Toka and Razor, aren't they like the first boss?
No, they're
No.
like the third.
They're in the Technodrome, which is a brand new level for the Super Nintendo.
Right, and because for the Super Nintendo, that's also... And then right after them, you do the little Shredder Battletoads fight, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So you have Big Apple, 3 AM. You have Alley Cat Blues. I'm just doing this from memory. Sewer Surfing. So in Sewer Surfing, originally in the arcade, that's where you got sent back in time to some... I can't even remember the name of the level. It's something Turtlesaurus
one, isn't it? Yeah.
And I swear in the arcade... Who's the boss of the surfer one? I mean, the sewer one in the arcade. Was it the same boss, or was it...
There wasn't a boss. In the arcade, it was just a bunch of those pizza monsters that would just kind of do like a little, not a boss rush, but there was a whole bunch of them, and it was just kind of you just had to withstand the onslaught.
Okay.
And then after that finished, Shredder comes out and teleports you back in time.
And right before you go through the portal, you see Sigourney Weaver in a giant robot killing scores of aliens made of pizza.
How did you guys like the sewer surfing boss, Rat King?
I liked him just because the fact that he was one of those bosses from the comics. Was he in the cartoons that often? I can't remember.
Like
he was definitely in the cartoon.
But he was cool, but I mean the boss fight was super easy.
I hated that he would
impress me.
I hated that he'd launch out those spikes.
Ow, my toes, my toe.
My toe. Yeah, that was annoying. Well, Chris, what else do you have for revisiting it today?
Oh, nothing. Nothing. I'm all done.
All right. Well, then, I'll go ahead and talk about it. For me, the gameplay is exactly like I remembered it. It's not very difficult. There are some hitbox detection issues, though, that I had. It seems that you have to be kind of just above them or just below them, and I mean like pixels. Not very much either way, but there were some problems as far as hitting him when I was Leonardo. As soon as I switched,
that's your problem. Yeah, that's your problem.
Oh my god, he's the best turtle, guys. The best turtle.
He's the best turtle. I couldn't hit anything.
Programming errors aside, he's the best turtle. But when I switched to Michelangelo, it was much, much easier. I wish that there was some more verticality to it. In the beat 'em ups that we have today, sometimes you'll move up or down, but here we're just moving from left to right. And I get it. It's an arcade. It's early 90s. It was just something I wish, looking back on game design with today's standards in mind.
Well, that's actually one thing I did notice playing today is I actually because a lot of games that are like the little side-scrolling beat 'em up things like this that have that just a little bit of verticality, sometimes it's really hard to tell, especially when enemies are jumping and stuff. It's hard to tell where they are lining up with. And this game actually does a decent job. Like the shadows are a good giveaway of making sure you're staying lined up with the enemies when they're airborne. And
Well, I think
Yeah.
it kind of goes back to how well they did with this graphically, where everything really stands out. Like everything is very clear cut, and the colors are crisp, and
yeah,
like
nothing gets muddled. And
everything's well defined.
this is one of the games that even as a kid, I don't remember, because you guys remember how it was when you're a kid. If there's too many enemies on the screen at the same time, the frame rate would drop. And this game never really had that problem.
And it's fair. Even when there's several enemies on the screen, if you're even playing single player, you can still win.
Yeah.
You know, these encounters. It's not overly difficult, even though it was a port of a, difficult arcade. It was much more difficult in the arcades. But
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna say, I wish I
by
could play
design.
I wish I could play the arcade side by side and see, like, if the arcade version was ramped up a little bit.
Well, I haven't played it in
20
probably.
years.
Oh no, it hasn't been that long at all. We have, well, in a city I used to live in, there's what's called the Bit Bar, and it's a free arcade. You just play a cover for to get in, and they have a bar inside as well, so you can drink alcohol and play all these games that you probably played as a teenager or younger for free.
Yeah, we've got a couple of those around here too. Those are awesome, but I haven't seen Turtles in Time anywhere.
Oh, that's where I last played it because it was free. I was able to obviously brute force my way through the game, but it felt much more difficult.
Now, one thing I will admit, playing comparing this to the other games, I mean, unless my controller was broken, which I don't think it is. I mean, this game, the controls for it is just A, or not A and B, but I mean, basically it's just A and B, right? And then A and B at the same time. Were there any other? There's no like heavy
Third
attack,
button
light
right there.
attack. Say what?
If there's any hidden mechanics, I don't know about them.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I mean, for a controller that has 6 buttons on it, you're only using 2 of them.
Well, they're mimicking the arcade. You didn't use all 6 buttons in the arcade.
Yeah, the cabinet had 3 buttons.
Did it? Oh yeah, the cabinet had the jump, hit, and then the third one was just a special by itself, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And another thing that I thought was cool, you know how like, sorry, I'm stealing your turn about talking about playing it modernly, but
Oh, keep going.
in every turtle game, when you use your special ability, it takes a little bit of your life. This game was nice enough to make it where if you don't hit an enemy, it doesn't take your life away. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. But you could,
No, I didn't notice that.
yeah, you can spam your special attack all day long, and it won't use any of your life until you actually make contact with an enemy. So you could use that to kind of like if you were playing, Michelangelo, he does that little lunge forward thing with his special, and you can like speed across the screen doing his special without wasting your life bar.
That's how you get them speed runs in.
Mm,
Further,
no,
Michelangelo's best.
no, for speed runs, Raphael all day.
Not your
Yeah, I watched a couple speed runs, and it was Raphael and Hard, and they're beating the game in like 25 minutes. It's absurd. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're able to kind of trick the game into not making so many encounters happen.
Probably going so fast that it's registering the next screen already.
Yeah. But talking about health, I felt that the pizza boxes were spaced fairly fair. You know, they're not too far apart. It's not, you never see one in a stage. I think that there's more than enough. I don't really remember if you play 2-player, if there's more.
No, you have to share.
Or if you're just yet to share. Ooh, you know what? That probably comes back to me and my brother just having problems as kids.
I remember arguments. You took my pizza box.
Bro, I'm dying.
I only had two bars left, and you took the pizza box. Well, I only had 4.
Quit using your special so much. But I mean, I would, yeah, it's fair. I mean, it's this game is difficult without being punishing.
Yeah, no, this game is what I think that it knew its target audience was kids, so it made it kid friendly. You know, if you
This was
wanted a hard,
definitely catered towards like 12-year-olds.
yeah, and there's no blood and guts and stuff. I think the difficulty definitely reflects on that.
As
Not
far as
saying it's silly and kiddish. I mean, it's still super fun to play though. So just want to clarify that.
as far as licensed beat 'em ups go, this is definitely one of my favorites.
For sure.
You were mentioning X-Men, The Simpsons. Some other great ones were Aliens
Time
vs.
Crisis.
Predator. Time Crisis isn't a beat 'em up.
Well, no, I thought we were talking about arcade games, but yes.
Oh man, that arcade that. Not to go on a side note, but that Simpson arcade game was the gold standard of what an arcade game beat 'em up should be. And I think the Ninja Turtles and this one is a good second.
I would love to talk about the Simpsons arcade game at some time, but one of the biggest problems is that it was on PSN and Xbox Live Arcade years ago, and it's been delisted since then.
Yeah, and I even bought it, and I can't get it back.
Yeah,
That's fine. You turned to your old friend piracy.
Arr, matey.
A Superannuated Starman does not encourage people to get unlawful products.
No, that's why you got to find Blockbuster.
All right, so I don't think anybody else has anything else to add. Let's take a quick break, and we will return for our final segment. And welcome back. Here we are at our final segment, where we're just going to discuss any final thoughts that we have on the game. For me, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, is just one of those games where it's kind of like comfort food. I could always go back to it, pick it up, play it, beat it, and just kind of enjoy my time with it. It's never anything that's stressful or not like any other types of games that we have today, where some beat 'em ups can be very stressful.
For sure, and I totally agree with that. And this is, like I mentioned earlier, this is totally a comfort food game that I want to share with other people. I really I would love to have like a dinner party, but I have somebody over and just play this with somebody. Couch co-op.
Absolutely. Cory, you have any final thoughts, or did you get everything else out?
I mean, I did. I will say, do you have 45 minutes in your day? Do you want to see a large green man beat up a bunch of ninjas while shouting pizza time? If that sounds like a great time for you, then you should play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, because it's fabulous. And what are you doing with your life?
Well said. So I think that's going to be it for the show. You can follow me and follow us at the podcast at ReviewByte. That's at Review BYTE. We're available on iHeartRadio and soon to be more podcast services. Cory has recently set up a Discord server. If you want to join us on Discord, there will be a link in the show notes. And the next game that we're going to cover is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis. I want to give a big thanks to Megan for updating the podcast art. It looks fantastic. I'm very, very pleased with it. I am very happy with this show, and it just seems to be getting better and better. And so I want to thank both of you, Chris and Cory, for your time. You guys are amazing, and I really hope that we can continue to give good shows like this for our audience.
Thanks for having me, man. This is so much fun.
Thanks for having me come on again.
Yeah, and will you be joining us the next time?
Oh, for sure. I mean, as long as you guys don't kick me out, I put a little cot in the corner, so I don't eat much.
Well, we will have you for as long as you want to be around. And lastly, I want to thank you guys, the listeners. I see that our numbers are steadily going up with each episode. So thank you guys. This means a whole lot to me. It's not anything that I make money off of. In fact, I am technically losing money just from the the expenditures that you
You're
have to pay for the.
investing.
Yeah, I'm investing. That's what it is.
You're investing in a love project.
Passion project.
Yeah.
That's the word.
That's fair. That's a fair way to put it. So, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time. Thank you.